60k. 60k, by the way. So I mentioned 60k. Yeah, so it's 60k a month that this guy's making off his clothing brand. I even know what to say, man. If that is not a testament to what I'm trying to push and the community aspect, 60k a month from a community. Second example. This video is everything you need to know about PCM. It's a whole course. It's a whole tutorial from A to Z. Anything you need to know will be in this video. If you guys don't know what PCM stands for or what it means, it just means paid community management. So where do we come in and where do we utilize that? And this is why the video is crucial. If you have a short span, click off this video. If you need to write notes, write notes. I've got a Miro board all about everything. I'll link it in the description below. If you get lost, if you don't understand anything, obviously put it in the comments and just keep referring back to the Miro board. So the first and most crucial point is mentality. Mentality is everything. And why is it everything? With anything, with any business model, and trust me, I've been there. I used to do SMMA, I used to do AI agencies, and with all of those models, I needed to maintain a level of mentality, a level of grit, a level of willingness to actually grow. And it comes down to how hard are you, or how willing are you to actually build this business. This isn't about getting money quick. This isn't about trying to flip money. You're trying to grow a business. You're trying to create a legacy rather than just get money fast. So couple questions or couple things that you need to think about before going into it, or before even getting into the setup, or me showing you proof, or me showing you clients. The first couple of things is, what do you know already? What are your interests and hobbies, and what are the things that you are an expert in, or things that you are well learned in? Such as, for instance, like me, I like football. So if I were to talk to someone about football, I can keep talking for days on days, because I consume football on a daily basis. And because you're a consumer on one thing and you're well learned in one thing, then when you're in people's DMs, or when you're communicating with people and you're talking with them, you show a level of confidence, you show a level of expertise, rather than just kind of giving the vibe that you don't know what you're talking about. And you want to show that level of knowledge and expertise. So another question to also think about is, what are the pain points of companies or personal brands or influencers that you're trying to work with? What are their pain points? And this is why the offer is so good, and why the offer is hard to resist. If I tell you I'm going to grow you a community, I'm going to grow you that traffic source, that people are constantly coming and consuming your content, what we like to call an evergreen traffic source. Very, very vital. You're getting them an extra income. So you're giving them another source of income. You see a lot of people like Hamza Adonis, like Alex Homotzi, they all have communities and they're making 100, 200k, 300k a month on a monthly recurring basis. This isn't just a one-time thing where they get a massive capital out of it. They're getting this on a monthly retainer. So if you come to someone and you say, I'm going to build them a community from scratch, I'll do the setup, I'll do the theme, I'll do your content strategy from A to Z, how in hell are they going to tell you this isn't good? How are they going to resist that? That offer is so good that it just kind of questions, why am I not taking it on board, or why am I not utilizing it? So it gets on to the next part now. What are the common mistakes that I see in people trying to implement it? So the first thing is what not to do. Don't think of this like some other business model, like SMMA, like AI automation. You're not providing a service. You're far from it. You're providing transformation. You're providing growth. You're transforming that person's life because you're providing them with a community. You're giving them value that they've never seen before. Imagine it like this. A influencer is posting content and he's kind of lost in emotions. and you've come in and you've told him, I will give you a recurring target audience, I will give you a recurring audience that will constantly be consuming your content, constantly trying to learn from you. Some people put their courses on SKOOL. They're constantly wanting you. That's the difference. People come to me. They don't go to someone else. They'll come to me because they understand that I'm bettering their value as a brand. I'm bettering their overall scope as a business. Second part, no need to look, these are the mistakes, no need to look for a niche. You are your own niche. And what I mean by that, you bring personality to what you're pushing. You're bringing a new scope to what you're pushing. You are the niche behind it. You are the personality rather than just a service-based model. Rather than just trying to give people ads, rather than just trying to give them a specific service, you're giving them a holistic, you're doing everything that will give them a reliable community. Third part, B2B is the best way. Now this is a mistake that I see a lot. You're going straight to the person or straight to the audience that you're going to. You need to wake up and stop trying to make any business stick. You've probably tried SMMA, you've probably tried other business models and they've just not worked for you because you're approaching it wrong. You're not coming in with a new strategy, and that strategy is you got to look at things in the long term. Your vision is a short term, quick response, quick results, instant results. You need to move away from that mentality instantly. A lot of influencers that I'm working with complain to me on a first hand. They'll tell me this is what's wrong. They'll literally be giving me what my offer is about, and they'll tell me it's not working for me. So a lot of influencers are trying to go for that long-term approach of trying to grow their audience, trying to uphold that reputation, and trying to grow in the field that they're in. And the problem is when you're pitching a service to them, it's not going to work for them. You need to pitch the growth element to them. You need to pitch that building of a reputation and building their audience for them. Mistake number 5 is that people expect to know everything instantly. They expect to be understanding everything at the start. How many businesses did Alex Hormozi start? How many did Iman Gatsi start? It's all in the learning process. Invest in the learning, because in the long run, you're actually creating a business. You're actually creating a system instead of thinking or defining your business by how much you make. Define it by how much you're improving and growing, because then you're investing in the long term rather than a short term progress. The next part, market needs and the gap. This is a golden opportunity. I don't want to emphasize it too much, but it's an opportunity that has never come or has never arose before. It has no similarity in the way it's come about. And I need you guys to wake up and stop trying to stick any business on the wall. Stop trying to make any business model work. Fixate on trying to grow something. Fixate on trying to improve and transform businesses from A company or A business to Z. Improve and invest in the business rather than just trying to pitch a service or pitch small ticket offers. The market is looking for new long-term ways to uphold their reputation. They're looking for new ways to build an audience, to build a community, and that's where you come in and pitch that. The offer's too good to resist. It's too good for people to say, what is the benefit in it? If I'm saying to you that I'm building you a community from scratch, I'm setting it up for you, I'm doing the theme, I'm building the content strategy, I'm launching it for you, and then I'm moderating and optimizing the community for you, and then helping you scale it, how is a person going to tell me, no, this isn't a good idea? Like, think about it like that. When you have so much conviction in the offer and so much conviction in what you are trying to push, then you can actually come across as someone with confidence, come across with someone that actually is worth their time and is worth of value. So you see, hence the gap in people, or the gap in the market, and then you come in and you're showing them a super engaged, reliable community that's bringing them another source of income, another stream of income, then there's no way they're going to say no, man. It's just unbelievable to me. And even when I'm in the communities or I'm in talking to people and I'm in DMs, the answers that I mostly get are, I'm very interested, I've thought about this. Doesn't mean I will land the client, doesn't mean I will necessarily bag the client, but I do understand that there's a demand for it, and people are starting to realize that a community is essential to their brand. It should be their focal point. So that's why you start to realize that there is a heavy demand on this, and then you start to realize that you can actually come in and fill that gap in the market. Brilliant. So let's get into proof, and obviously refer back to the Miro board. Always look to the Miro board for any kind of guidance, and if you're a bit lost, just always refer to the Miro board. I'll leave a link below for the Miro board for you guys to access it, for you guys to kind of soak it in and learn as much as possible. So I've got the first example for you guys, and that is a guy making 60,000 per month for his clothing brand. Just kind of soak that in. I'll give you 2-3 seconds to soak it in. 60k. 60k, by the way. So I mentioned 60k. Yeah, so it's 60k a month that this guy's making off his clothing brand. I even know what to say, man. If that is not a testament to what I'm trying to push and the community aspect, 60k a month. A month, 60k times 12. So you're talking about 720,000. Like, quick maths on it. $720,000 a month alone from a community. From a community. Second example. We have this guy that is a abundance and prosperity coach, and he kind of talks about the law of attraction and quantum mechanics and manifesting your dreams. And you're probably thinking like, well, what's this about? And like, but he's got 321 members, 321 members on his community. Crazy. And he's charging $50 a month. You do the maths on that one. By the way, they're all, these examples I'm showing you kind of an average. They're all charging $49/$50 a month, which is not a lot per person, but times it by how many people they're working with, it's crazy numbers. The third example, a barber accelerator. So accelerating barbers to achieve financial freedom through business, social media, and self-mastery. What you start to realize in all of these communities is that they're very niche down. So you're talking about, he's accelerating barbers to achieve financial freedom. The second guy is abundance and prosperity coach. He's teaching law of attraction, and he's still got 321 members. So for any community aspiring or people that want to start their own community or want to launch their own community, and they're thinking, oh, people are never going to join what I'm talking about, or people are never going to want to kind of hear what I'm saying. First of all, anything you push out should be of value. And second of all, if this isn't testament to random, or not random, but like kind of very niche down ideas or very niche down concepts, then I don't know what is. Guys talking about quantum mechanics to help others manifest their dreams and desires. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. And he's still got 321 members, and he's still continuously growing. You've got some guy that's doing a clothing brand community, so, and he charges $50 with 1.2k members. And then the last guy has 358 members, and he's got admins and such, and he's also charging $50 a month, and many, many more. You've probably heard of Hamza, you've heard of Caprice. These are all guys that are making 100 to 200 to 300k a month. Hamza, for instance, he has a community where he does like brotherhood, he does like self-improvement, and he fixates on trying to like build a kind of community around like these morals and stuff like that. And he's got, I believe it's like 1,000 to 2,000 members, and he's also like, he was in the SKOOL games and he got first, and he got 250k or 220k a month from his course, which is just crazy. That's more than people earn in 10 years combined, and you're telling me he made it in 1 month. So imagine in a year. So I want to divide it into two things now. So I've told you guys that this works. I've shown you guys that there's proof behind what I'm saying. And there's so many examples of people making heaps and heaps of money. So I want to show you guys kind of the PCM agency structure. And it goes down to two parts, which is the front end and the back end. So the PCMA, what does it stand for again? So PCMA stands for Paid Community Management Agency. And you're talking about content creators and you're giving them a community and you're managing it for them. So what are the modes of outreach? What does that look like? How do we actually pitch to these people and where do we pitch to them? So the biggest one I would suggest is X or Twitter. That is where we get heaps and heaps of clients and meetings on meetings and a lot of people on there, because the community on X is unlike other communities or unlike other platforms. People continuously asking for help, and it's more of a learning environment rather than other platforms. But I still reach out to people on platforms such as Instagram, LinkedIn and TikTok. You see what works for you. For me, X and Twitter works the best, even though I still do Instagram and I still get clients on Instagram, still get clients on TikTok, I still get clients on LinkedIn. But for me, Twitter is the best. So you trial and test. You shift the pitch how you want based on the platform you're using. And then add that to the influencer type. If you kind of understand that certain influencers are on certain platforms, which you will get into with your niche and who you're fixating on. If you understand that a certain type is on a certain platform, start to target that platform. And through that target, so a certain type of influencer would have 10K, you got to understand which is the best for you. So if you got a bigger brand on Twitter and you've got maybe a 5K account, you can work on pitching to 10K to 20K to 30K to up to 100K. Like for instance, one of our accounts has 8K and one of our members has 8K followers on their Twitter account, and he's been able to bag and sign a client with 100K. So don't don't underestimate your following, and don't underestimate people with large followings. They're humans just like you. You don't have to act a different way. Just push out a volume. That's the most important part. Push out numbers and something will stick, something will work. So the more you push out, the more return you get. And then in the Miro board, you guys can kind of see different examples of how to pitch and what the message looks like. And this is the brilliant thing about PCMA before I get into what the messages are. This is the brilliant thing. No cold calling, no cold emailing, no random ass outreach systems. It's just a simple DM. You just DM the person. You can do it either by manual outreach or you can do it by automatic or automated. I do both to maximize my volume, and it's just as simple as that. You're just pushing out DMs to people and they're responding. So an example of this, for instance, I've got, hey Juan, I love your content and your free resources and they've been a huge help. Do you have a paid community by any chance? The most important part with any of these messages that I'm showing you guys, I'm not trying to sound salesy. I'm just asking a question. Do you have a paid community? Why don't you have a paid community? Or if they have a paid community, who's running that paid community? Do you have a management behind it? Who are the people you're targeting? Just questions. Invoke that curiosity within the creator or within the influencer that you're trying to reach out, and just question his inner kind of thinking process and stuff like that. And the minute that invokes in him, he's like, what? Why have I never gotten a management? Or why don't I have a community? And stuff like this, he starts to question himself. And you start to question the thinking process behind what he's doing. And that's where you end up selling, or that's where you end up pitching in a kind of indirect method, but keeping it very simple and very brief. I've got another example here. Hey, I'll be real, this is a cold DM. So that's another style where you're saying this is a cold DM. Have you ever thought of running a paid community? Very short, very simple. You're kind of giving them that reverse psychology element of you're saying this is a cold DM, but all I'm asking is, do you have a paid community? That's all I'm asking. And you don't write an essay, you don't write a whole paragraph of why you think paid communities work. And no, people just want they just want to know what you're trying to ask. And if you're giving them so much information, then they get lost and they don't want to do it. Another quick example. Hey Andrew, saw you have quite a nifty following, and this is one of the clients we actually proceeded to get in a meeting with, and then later on bagged them as a client. Hey Andrew, saw you have quite a nifty following here. Have you ever considered a paid community? Literally just give him a small compliment, just said you have a big following, yeah, but I've also questioned his following. You have 100k and you've not made any dollars off it. You've not made a single dollar off the following and audience you have. What's the point of it? Or are you just trying to get likes? Are you just attention hungry? Okay, you can actually monetize your community. Now you've opened up a certain element in their head, a certain kind of frontal lobe, back lobe, or whatever in anatomy in their brain. And you've opened up certain areas in their brain they never even thought about, never even questioned. Now you've opened up a new skill. Rather than SMMA, they've heard it so many times. Growth operator, they've heard it so many times. AI automation, they probably heard it so many times as well. But I've come and I've told them about this simple thing of just start your own community. I'm actually bringing you value here. I'm actually giving you something that you can make money off. And this is not just me kind of throwing some service at you and hoping it work, or shall I get you 10k a month? No, I'm trying to build you something different. I'm trying to build your brand. I'm trying to make you not just money, because obviously money is a big part of it, but I'm trying to build your image out. I'm trying to make your personal brand have more value. And that's what kind of invokes that emotion within influencers and other people. This is the thing that I want you to emphasize within yourself, or understand this the most, and within the way you're pitching, is that community equals currency. Big community, big audience equals currency. Long are the days where you just have 100k followers and you're not actually making money off it. Now I can make money off having 10k followers. I can make it off 5k. And like I said in the examples previously, you had someone that had the 130 or 230 members, but they're making 10k a month, or they're making 20k a month. If they're charging $50, they're making 30k a month. It's crazy numbers, and that's what you got to utilize. Second part, we have the front end, now we have the back end, and that is the SKOOL setup. So we've kind of understood the logic behind it. We've understood how to outreach. We've understood what type of influences are there and kind of the ethos of PCMA. Now we want to get into SKOOL setup and step 0. And I've kind of broken it down for you guys of how long everything should take, so you don't take like flipping 30 days trying to figure out what the community goal is or what the mission is behind it. I've broken it down, so I've told you step 0, 10 minutes. Just briefly, these are the things that you should think about. What will entice people to pay monthly to join? Is there a wider mission or goal that you're trying to achieve? And then what is the largest study community, or for example, what is the largest football community, stuff like that, that you want to target? So why do you actually entice people to come in and join the community? And then I've got an analogy below that I kind of define the goals and stuff like that that you can refer to in the Miro board. So obviously refer back to the Miro board. Get lost, go back to the Miro board. With anything you do, if you're getting lost in your step 3, go back to step 0, rinse and repeat. Don't try to skip a step, because it's all intertwined, it's all intertangled. Step number 1, set the thumbnail plus mission. So this is how the page will look to people. So when you're first going onto the website, what is the look and the feel of the business or the community, sorry, and what does that look like to a customer that's coming? If it looks scammy, if it looks fake, if it doesn't look genuine, and it doesn't have a good description of what the community is going to be about, then you're most likely not going to have people that are willing to join. So just treat it as your business, treat it as something that you want to have a good aesthetic for, and the look and the feel match what you're trying to preach. Write a brief mission statement. So obviously refer back to step 0. That one is going to be in the section. So in the section below where the title and the thumbnail is of the community, you want to have a section where you break down kind of what the community is about and what is the mission, so that people are actually enticed to join. If I'm telling you as a community owner, I'm telling you I will help you achieve financial freedom. I'm helping you better your goals. I'm helping you in self-development. And you saw in these ones, I'm helping you with your clothing business. These are things that entice people, and these are things that will actually trigger people to join. Step number 2 is set up admins. You want full autonomy over the community. You want to be able to control the community, so you can add, tweak, all the stuff that we talked about in terms of operations, in terms of optimization, in terms of the moderation of the community. You want full autonomy in the community so you can add and tweak how you want. So to do that, just go to settings, edit profile, account as desired, and then you can do it on there, and you can go into communities or chat settings and then go on there. I'm going to be adding a link for you guys so you can actually give your clients an extra $39 off, and then it leaves an upfront cost of $60. Makes it cheap for you guys, and then you won't have to kind of pay as much as the typical person because you've gotten that a link. Step number 3, of course you see me, new aesthetic, but obviously because the camera died and then the audio actually muffled. A couple people in the last video said the audio was a bit and that is one-sided, so we fixed that. Hopefully I'm gonna tag the guy in and check to see if it works now. But now we're going back to step 3, and step 3 is prioritize what goes first. Very crucial. Build in public. And if you're seeing on the Miro board here, build in public is push out as you go along. Push out as much as possible as you're going along, because you don't want it to be a case of you're too caught up in pushing out a one complete solid community that you just get too complacent and you start procrastinating. Push out an MVP. Here you can see it says prioritize what should be added as priority and what can be launched or what could be added after launch. So that kind of pushes out as much as possible so that people can be engaged in the community, people can see something that represents the community, but also that gives you time to actually build as you're going along. You get feedback, you get criticism, you get an idea of what's going well and what's not going well. So rather than just waiting for the whole thing to be finished, push out an MVP, just a minimal viable product, and then you can actually start with pushing out the solid parts. So an example of what I did is I launched a free course, and that was the priority at the time because I wanted people to get a taste. I wanted people to understand what the community is about. So I released a free course. So I got sign-ups and everything, and then I released a paid course. That was kind of an upsell. I got people to go on the paid course, and then I funneled them into that high ticket. So that's a way that I did it. That's what I kind of suggest to some of the clients that I work with. Step 4, import and add content. So what this refers to is content your client already does. A lot of my clients have Q&As, podcasts, articles, vlogs, everything, and they have so many platforms and people that are using kind of outdated systems. I know one of my clients uses Substack. They use Substack, and that's kind of an outdated system, I believe. So trying to integrate his previous content, putting it onto SKOOL, needed to bring a lot of his blogs and a lot of his articles over. So as you know, that needed a lot of effort, so we have to add content and import it. So what I suggest is working with your client to add new exclusive content to the community, and then that could be a good way to tease people out the community, because you've got to understand, if this community is just going to be a compilation of all the content that the person has, then it's not really anything special. Then there's no purpose. If I'm charging someone $50, what's really the purpose behind the community? So you want the community to be new. You want it to have a new kind of signature to it, pushing out exclusive content, and that could be in the ways of behind the scenes kind of vlogs, exclusive weekly calls. Get creative with your client, understand what his niche is, understand what his target audience is, and then you can work with that rather than just kind of pushing out monotonous stuff or just pushing out or regurgitating previous content. And then in certain cases, content can be repurposed in the community. So it doesn't have to be you're coming up with the craziest of things. No, you can kind of reshuffle things, repurpose things in a different way to target the community and kind of just have more content rather than just reshuffling. Step 5, set up classroom and calendar. Classroom is where the bulk of the content is, where the community kind of goes to, and why the community kind of signed up in the first place, to be honest. A lot of communities have courses, and a lot of communities put all their content in that one place. So kind of how to have a successful classroom or successful classroom execution, keep this tab active and purpose driven. So you should do this by identifying what this course outcome is and how the course will solve a pain point. So for example, you are SMMA community, you are trying to teach people how to be a successful SMMA agency, and you're trying to show them how to do SMMA. So there's different components to it. There's sales, there's maybe the funnel systems they use, the scripts. So title everything so that the person that's coming in new understands the community. You got to understand that people are not just internal to the community. This could be their first time even knowing who you are. So you have to have everything identified and labeled and just kind of understood for the person that's in the community. One method is to release all videos at once per course, or release one at a time. Depends on the area of interest. So with each one, you can kind of create an element of kind of curiosity or entice people by releasing in doses. So if I release a content course maybe per chapter, that's a way to entice people. But some people already have a pre-defined or pre-made content course that they've already gotten someone from outside the community and brought them in, so they'll just push it out all at once so the person can take in the content or use the content already there. Step number 6, set up members plus leaderboard games. What does that mean? So first thing is welcome the members into a community. You got to understand this is a community. You're not just dumping content on people. You're not just throwing stuff and hoping it sticks on the wall. You want to make it feel a comfortable place for the person. You want them to be feeling like they're part of something. So how can you do this? Have a leaderboard where the members with the most engagement appear in the leaderboard. So this is kind of a way to entice people to be more engaging, to be more active within the community, and it just helps create that community sense rather than just people being in their own little world. Bring people in. I want to kind of bring an example. I don't know if you guys know Hamza. I probably mentioned him in most of the videos that I'm making at the moment, but Hamza Adonis or Hamza Ahmed, what he does, he literally has live calls with his community and eats together. And literally just has food with them. Because his kind of thing is self-development and brotherhood and having morals and stuff like that. So what he does is literally has calls where they eat together, kind of discuss, and it's not even to do with the content of the community, but he wants to have that brotherhood sense. He wants to have that community sense, because you're not just, this isn't a course. If it was a course, people will just literally buy it and that's it. They don't, why would they get a subscription-based community platform? They just buy the course if it's only value driven. Of course, you want to emphasize the fact that you're giving value, but you want to build that community, you want to build that audience. Members can actively see how much they are interacting in the community and feel as if they're rewarded for their interactions. And one way of doing that is hosting games in which members are rewarded for how much they interact. I know a couple communities that I was in before, what they do, they literally do monthly giving out AirPods, they'd give out little kind of rewards, give out gift cards, anything just to keep the community enticed, keep that reward element and keep that competition between other community members, just as a way to kind of be friendly. Step 7, which ties heavily into step 6, keep community engaged. Biggest mistake of community owners is doing, what they do is they think their job is done the minute they've kind of landed that person or the minute that member has joined their community. It's quite the opposite, and it's completely opposite in the sense that your job starts the minute the person enters the community, and that's where you want to keep them on there for a long time, especially if your community is maybe $20, $30 a month, which times by a lot of people is still a lot of money. But imagine if you were to keep them on a longer basis. $20 off one person just for that 1 month is not a lot, but 20 over the month, or over the year, sorry, that's a lot. 20 over the 2 years maybe, that's much more money than just having them on a monthly basis. So that's why you got to prioritize keeping that community engaged and keeping people into one part. And the most important part of community is maintenance, because you're trying to maintain the community, you're trying to keep or uphold a community standard. So that's where you kind of treat your community as real humans rather than, like I said, just dumping content on them and making them feel that they're just here for a task. They're here for community. Understand, kind of put yourself in the shoes of the user or of the member. Understand, if I wanted a community, what would you want out of it? You don't want just kind of articles or long text. You want to feel like you're part of something bigger. You want to feel like you're part of one whole unit or one community. Interact with them, talk to them, gather feedback, and constantly improve. The worst signs of a community owner is someone that just sits back and lets the community go along with the waves, doesn't interact with them, doesn't collect feedback. Because people respect when you're actually constantly trying to improve the product or you're trying to improve the community. They respect that their voice is actually being heard rather than just leaving them kind of in the waves, lost in the community, which over time, they're not likely to stay. You want to keep them in there. Step 8, strategize growth. So what does 3 months look like? What does 6 months look like? And what does 8 months look like? So growth starts from the get-go. You and your client need to discuss early on what kind of the 3 months looks like for his community. Kind of go down with the vision of the community, what he'd like to see in the community. And why I say 3 months, why I say 6 months, and why I say 8 months, because 3 months is kind of a early stage. People are starting to go into the community. So you have to kind of underline what your idea for the 3 months looks like. 6 months, you're kind of in the thick of it. You're still developing new processes, you're still developing the community, you're collecting feedback, and 8 months is when you're trying to expand and you're trying to grow. So each one is a pinnacle point in the growth of the community. Discuss new releases into the community, content, meet and greets, all of this stuff, like I said in the previous one, is about engagement, keeping that community live and keeping it thriving and flourishing. How will the content or community evolve over time, and how will you manage that? You need to discuss this with your client. You need to understand what he wants out of the community. Don't just say, I'm going to create a community for you. That's just, isn't that a big statement, first of all? And then secondly, what is a community for him? What is he actually trying to achieve? And you have to understand it as a community management. You have to understand if he even qualifies in the first place. So there's a level of understanding what the client needs, understanding his needs, and understanding where he wants to go. It's important that you stay at the forefront and steer instead of getting washed away. And this is crucial to what we mentioned in steps 6 and 7, is that if you just let the community do what it wants, you don't get feedback, you don't constantly improve, then you're just letting the community do what it wants. You don't get that retention, or you don't get that kind of longevity within the community members. And you may be made of $20, you might have made $100, but that's not where the prize is. The prize is creating that community that will give you that long lasting or kind of that recurring income or recurring stream of cash flow. And then a pro tip, as the community grows, consider having chat moderators and community monitors, because a lot of kind of self-promotion happens, a lot of trolls, a lot of people that are just trying to maybe steal content and just kind of ruin the community. And then if people see that, they kind of feel that the community has no kind of structure. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back. You have now completed the full PCMA tutorial. You know the setup, you know everything. You've gone into the mentality. You've understood everything that includes a PCMA model. And now it is your turn to take lead. Now it's your turn to take action. Honestly, I don't care if you don't take action, and no one else will. If you don't take action, someone else will, and it's your turn to actually take the lead. If you don't want to, that's up to you. But the proof does work. The actual model does work. So I don't want you guys to suffer in silence. I don't want you guys to kind of get lost with it. So I'm dropping a link below It has my Calendly link, so we can work on a one-to-one basis for completely free, just to help you guys set this up. In the link below, anything you want to add, anything you want to know, and stay tuned for the next video.